Have you ever stopped to wonder just how big can a monster get? I mean, so ridiculously, mind-bendingly huge that our brains can barely even process it. Well, if you want to talk about scale, you have to talk about the world of One Punch Man, where that whole concept gets taken to a completely different, city-shattering level.
Okay, so before we get to the truly insane planet-sized stuff, we gotta ground ourselves a little. Look way down at the bottom of the image. See that little speck? Yep, that's a person. That's us. That's our reference point for everything we're about to see.
So let's dive in and really explore the true scale of these monsters. Think of it like a pyramid of pure destruction, right? We're gonna start with the building busters and work our way all the way up to things that could literally swallow worlds.
All right, first up on our scale, the skyscraper-sized threats. You know the type, the kind of monster that makes you feel tiny even in the middle of a huge city. We're talking creatures that could just casually lean over and peek into a penthouse window. So, remember that first monster we saw, King Orochi? Well, he clocks in at a cool 27 meters tall. Now that number sounds big, but what does it actually mean? What does it feel like?
Well, it means he's looking down on your average 7-story building. Seriously, just picture that for a second. You're standing on the street, you look up at an apartment building, and then this thing looms even higher. And believe me, this is just the warm-up. And hey, he's not the only one in this weight class. You've got guys like Groribas, around 9 meters, basically a walking industrial silo. Then there's Gouketsu, a martial artist who's now as tall as a 3-story house. Yeah, these are your basic, run-of-the-mill, call in the National Guard type of threats.
Okay, time to climb that pyramid a little higher. We're moving past just regular buildings now. We're talking about monsters so big they could either be a tourist attraction or, just smash one to pieces.
Just look at this. On one side, you've got Overgrown Rover, a very, very bad dog. And on the other, Chicago's famous Bean. And yeah, Rover is pretty much the same size. Can you even imagine that thing barreling towards you? But wait, it gets crazier. Check this out. The 170,000-year-old cicada monster, a whopping 135 meters tall. And here's the kicker. The perfect comparison, that is the exact height of the London Eye. I'm gonna say that again. A flying bug, the size of the London Eye. All right, let's keep climbing. We're done with landmarks. The monsters at this next level, they don't just fight in a city. For them, the whole city is just the arena. These things are the disaster.
So say hello to Beefcake. At 270 meters, he's not just taller than a skyscraper, he is a walking skyscraper. Just look at that little human speck for scale. He's basically a 70-story building made of pure muscle, and every single step is a localized earthquake. Terrifying. But, height isn't everything. Some monsters are all about length. This is Elder Centipede. Its threat isn't up and down, it's just forward. Pure, unstoppable forward momentum. It doesn't bother stepping on buildings, it just carves right through them like they're made of paper. The way it's described in the source material is just perfect. It's like a gigantic tunnel-boring machine, ripping through civilization. At that point, it's not really a creature anymore, is it? It's more like a force of nature, just grinding everything in its path to dust.
And then, at the very top of this city-devouring tier, you have Psyko-Orochi. This thing is a whole other level. It's a fusion, right? And its size is just unreal. We're talking up to 20 kilometers tall. Its head is literally scraping the lower stratosphere. This isn't a monster anymore, it's a living mountain with the power to literally crack the planet.
Okay, deep breath. We're at the top of the pyramid now. The final category, and I want you to forget everything we've talked about. Forget buildings, forget landmarks, forget entire cities. The monsters we're talking about now, you don't measure them in meters. You measure them against hurricanes, against continents, against the void of space itself.
Just look at this number for a second. 2,000 kilometers. What in the world could be that big?
That is the potential size of a monster called Evil Ocean Water. And just to put that into perspective, that is bigger than Typhoon Tip, one of the largest, most massive cyclones ever recorded in human history. We're talking about a monster that is larger than a planet-altering weather event.
And here's the thing. How do you even fight that? You can't. It's described as a living tsunami the size of a continent. It's not attacking the world, it's just drowning it. It is the attack.
And that leads us to our grand finale, the last one, maybe the most ridiculously, mind-bendingly enormous monster of them all, Sage Centipede. Its length?
An estimated 800 kilometers. Let's put that in perspective. The official edge of outer space is about 100 kilometers up. This thing is so long, if you could stand it on its tail, it would reach from the ground all the way into space 8 times over.
I mean, when you're describing something as a living mountain range tearing continents apart, the word monster doesn't even feel big enough anymore. You're not looking at an enemy to be punched, you're looking at a geological event, a planetary disaster that's alive.
And that really brings us full circle, doesn't it? We went from a monster taller than a building all the way up to a living force of nature that can rip the world apart. So it makes you wonder, when the monsters stop being just on the planet and basically become the planet, what in the world does fighting back even look like?